Kansas Sports Chatter here on YouTube. You can also subscribe to the podcast on any platform that you listen to your podcast. Today's guest is going to be Jeff Bollig. He is the vice chairman of the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. It's our Unbreakable Kansas Records, and this is where we kind of dive into and grab some of those state high school records here in Kansas that are close to being unbreakable. And we've had some really good ones. Like, Jeff, when you came on first and talked about Jim Ryan's, mile records, yep, that's a no-brainer. D'Angelo Evans' career rushing record, out of Wichita Collegiate, I was like, yep. Now, this one, I like this one because you look at the grand history of wrestling in the state of Kansas, and to go undefeated in your entire career is something. But I will say this is probably the record that I could see some more athletes in the near future accomplishing, including one that just happened, this past spring. Right. But tell me about today's record.
Well, it may not be breakable, but it's certainly tieable,
yeah,
because
exactly.
It is undefeated wrestlers for their career in the state of Kansas. And it was really kind of fun researching it. I knew two of them, and then just kind of as you research it, and I think we have to give some credit to a guy named Pete Meringer from Kinsley, who back in the 30s won state, and according to all records was undefeated. He went up to Kansas, and Kansas had wrestling, won a Big Six title there, and he won an Olympic gold in 1934. So I am going to give it to the Meringer family. They don't have to provide us a record. You win an Olympic gold in wrestling. I'll take your word for it. Your word. But the two, there are two boys and one girl, and the two boys are Zach Robertson from Blue Valley Northwest, 153-0.
Wow.
So three-time All-American, 2004 NCAA champion, and I have to do research on this, but I believe there have been 5 Kansans win an NCAA wrestling title, so that's pretty impressive. So Zach went up to Iowa State and was tremendous. He lives in Texas now, I believe. But wow, 153-0. So that's one. The other one is Bo Manus. Bo is Salina South. He was 130-0. Went to Oklahoma, and I believe the 2003 he finished 4th in the nation. He did have some injuries. Two-time All-American. Big 8 or Big 12 champion, excuse me. And the interesting fact about him is he was never subject to a takedown.
Wow.
And impressive. And I think Bo is now coaching wrestling on a club scene or youth scene somewhere in Norman or Oklahoma City. So those two, quite impressive. And there's been some tremendous wrestlers. I mean, there's been a good handful, I think 40 some. I saw the Twitter feed going around about 4-time state champions, which you think about it, how can a freshman, compete against, juniors and seniors? But it's really amazing. But our most recent is a girl. And of course, wrestling is new for girls in Kansas. Gabby Kopp from Clay Center, 128-0. And she just accomplished it this year. So 4 state titles, 128-0. And I don't know if it could be duplicated, but wow, that's difficult. That's difficult.
Well, you even look at like Roberson's the 153-0, just the sheer number, because I was just looking at, with the Kansas Wrestling Coach Association, and they had the records of there's a lot recently that have gone undefeated for a single season, like right. Adam Hagman of Shawnee Mission Northwest went 50-0, right. Henry White's at Blue Valley West went 49-0, and the list goes on and on. Tate Wilson from Pratt was really good last year.
Yeah.
So but just to get that sheer number, because there's some wrestlers, Jeff, that go into the state meet that have wrestled 25 matches, and then there's some that have wrestled 50 matches going in. So just getting that pure number up there is tough.
Well, that's why I said, well, I don't know if anybody's really set a minimum for the record, but I would assume at least 100 matches maybe. But and I will tell you that the discussion in these various high school platforms online that are out there, wrestling conjures up great emotion. I mean, they come out of the woodwork, and it's great in the discussion I saw just this past week about these kids who wrestled against, Robertson or Manus or somebody else in the state, and they just recount the matches they had, and it's great discussion. And there's a lot of talk about almost, did he almost lose this one, or did something happen? But so it's a great to recall. And again, I don't know enough about Gabby's career. I don't know if she had any close ones. And I don't even know if, since it was last year, I don't know if she even went on to college to wrestle. There aren't that many women's programs yet, but there will be. They're coming. But certainly to be undefeated for 4 years, amazing.
Yeah, Gabby, I was reading the article, Britt Maycock with Keisha covered, wrote up the article last spring, and, in 110 of her wins out of the 126 were all by via pin. So just, dominance. And she's a freshman at Baker University.
Is she Baker?
Yeah,
okay.
She's at Baker this year. But I know Bo and Zach both in the Hall of Fame, and Gabby will be in that wrestling Hall of Fame here soon too.
Yeah. I wonder if Gabby had older brothers who she had to fend for herself. And so that's how she did it. But kudos to Gabby and Bo and Zach. Tremendous. Like I said, tieable. You can't break perfection, but maybe we'll see it tied down the road. I don't know if anybody coming up has that opportunity. I kind of doubt it, but that would be something if it happens.
Impressive. Yeah. Again, in that article by Maycock, he said Gabby was, she had 2 older brothers, and then they would come back from wrestling and try out all their moves on her, and she would start to get mad, and then eventually started getting wrestling and got really good at it. So impressive story.
Don't mess with Gabby.
Don't mess with Gabby at all. Hey, Jeff, appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cole, thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Jeff Bollig, the vice chairman of the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame, and that is our Unbreakable Kansas Records segment.